Clock is ticking for lawmakers to, well, make laws. Only 3 more days are left in the legislative calendar, but there are still a number of huge issues still on the table to discuss. Here with his finger on the pulse of the Capitol, our political analyst, New York Post political columnist, Fred Dicker. Fred, politicians have a lot to get to next week.
Cody, I've covered a few decades worth of end of sessions down here at the state legislature. I've never seen one like this where really nothing is going on publicly in terms that would explain how they're going to wrap things up next Wednesday, which, as you noted, is the last official day of the session. I'm told that the staffs have really drafted major extenders, I guess they're being called, for some of the outstanding issues like rent regulations for New York City. They may tie that to an extension of the property tax cap upstate, although that cap has a year to go. There's something called the 421A program in New York City, housing construction. Plus, the governor is trying to get some things he can get bragging rights for, including an education investment tax credit. Bottom line is that this is a very peculiar session with the kind of image or ghost of Preet Bharara, the U.S. attorney, hanging over it. The lawmakers don't seem to want to do anything controversial. They expect next week to just pass extenders on some of the things about to expire, and little else is going to get done.
Interesting. You have the property tax cap, you have raising minimum wage, raising the age. That's one of the big campaigns we've heard about, criminal responsibility. What do you think is actually going to get done?
Those things are not going to happen by every indication now. This is all about the peculiar political needs of the governor right now. Cody, he's been spending more time out in the street at rallies than being the governor on the second floor of the Capitol and meeting with legislators to get things done. He's very nervous about his drop in the polls. The Democrats have turned against him. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything special done with the minimum wage next week, or with what you've touched on, or these housing issues for New York City, which are very critical to some 2 or 2.5 million people in the city.
That is a big issue down there. We know to keep an eye on it. Fred, thanks so much.
Sure.
Reminder, you can hear Fred's radio program live from the state capitol every weekday morning from 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.